Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Seems like we were just here. Glad you come. I know this morning will be a profitable time for you. We are having constantly to update ourselves on these issues, and we are certainly grateful to have our guest with us again, that Rachel will introduce in just a moment. My job is to pray, so let's get to it. Father in heaven, thank you, O Lord, for a beautiful morning. It's so wonderful to live in such a beautiful part of the world. But Lord, as we gather here, we pray and ask you for your help. Lord, we pray that you will bless, that this time together will result in our having a greater sense of security, being able to put measures in place and be better stewards of resources that you've entrusted to us. And so, Father, please bless that this will be an extraordinarily profitable time that will result in resources being protected, you being glorified, and us being better managers and stewards. We ask for your help, and we pray for your direction, and we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
So yes, thank you for coming, Heather. We're so excited to have you again. Much better turnout this time than the last time because of so much sickness in the church. But I just wanted to introduce Heather. She is a crime prevention practitioner for the Lee County Sheriff's Office. She was here last month talking to us about online safety as well as identity theft. And today she will be talking about home security as well as AI. And I also know she has some surveys that would be very helpful if you would fill those out. So if you have not done that, please consider doing that. Also, I have pens up here if anybody needs them, as well as clipboards. So if you need those things, please let me know now, and we will get those to you. Okay? Oh, clipboard. Okay, I'm going to end this order. Okay, very good.
Yes, the surveys are voluntary. I usually hand them out before if we have a little time. It's not something that you have to do, but if you'd like to do it and you didn't get one, I will give you one afterward. I know we all love paperwork. It's so fun. But, you know, it's important. Feedback's important, and sometimes we don't get it unless we ask, right? So, well, welcome. My name's Heather Turco. I'm with the Lee County Sheriff's Office. I'm in the Community Response Unit, CRU crew, and we literally respond to the community. So thank you for inviting me here. I am a crime prevention specialist, which means that I have been taught everything and done a whole lot of research, so I am capable and competent and ready to teach you what I know. And our job, of course, with the Sheriff's Office is to keep you safe, both physically in your property, but also online too. So today we're doing a 2-for-1. This is not something that I normally do, but I am doing it for you. So we're going to do a half hour on residential security and a half hour on artificial intelligence. My programs usually run about an hour. So like I said, I'm cutting it short just a little bit, but if you have questions on anything that maybe I didn't touch on, please let me know. Very quickly, personally, I will tell you that prior to my time here with the agency, as a public speaker speaking out about crime prevention, I was in broadcasting for 23 years. I was a news anchor reporter. That was a big chapter in my life, a good chapter. And then before that, I was a flight attendant for Delta Airlines. I flew overseas, lived up in New York. I am actually from Oklahoma, the other O state. I have learned there is another O state. So yes, I am from that one. Oklahoma is okay. Yes, we have high expectations for ourselves. Yes. No, that's considered home, although I will tell you, I have been in Florida now longer than I have been in Oklahoma. So I feel like a lot of us probably too, we're a little bit Floridian as well. So I have two adult children. They will always be 7 and 4 years old in my mind. They are thriving and doing great, both graduated from University of Florida, and I was a Gator hater, especially being from Oklahoma. I did not like any Florida football teams because they always beat us. They always beat us when we got to the playoffs. But now we're in the SEC, so go figure, we shall see. And then I am married, just celebrated 30 years of marriage. My husband is a baseball coach and athletic director, and he actually has 4 state titles in baseball. He's a pretty good coach, not too handy, but a pretty good coach, I have to say. He did just hang up drapes all weekend for me, and I was very impressed. We're talking rulers were out, and like pencils and ladders, and it was crazy in my house, but doing a little renovating now that the kids are grown, which is nice. And then my mom, she recently moved down from Oklahoma to be closer to us. She's in her mid-70s. Unfortunately, she's had a lot of scam issues, so it makes for stories that I can share so I can hopefully teach others not to get scammed. All right, let's get started. This is Sheriff Carmine Marcino. So he is my boss. I always say you are his boss. In fact, in our organizational chart, it says the citizens of Lee County at the very top, and then the sheriff and undersheriff and lots of other folks, and then I'm way down here, which is just fine with me. So when we talk about residential security and safety, it's, you're going to say, this is a lot of common sense, Heather, but when do we take that common sense class? Well, I think we do need a refresher from time to time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about things. I'm going to put it all in a nice package, put a bow on it, and then, again, take anything that you may not have thought about, or because we feel so safe down here in our area, a lot of times we become complacent, a little too comfortable. So when we talk about residential security, and I do teach and I go out and I do security surveys, homes, businesses, houses of worship. So if I were to come to your home, some of the things we would look at, landscaping, lights, and locks. I'm going to teach you how to be a little bit of someone within law enforcement, right? How do I button up? And unfortunately, I always say, think like a criminal, think like a thief. If you were going to do something and had ill intent, what does your home look like to a potential, right, a criminal? And I would say that too online. I would say that too out when you're walking around in public, in the parking lot and shopping, etc. So when it comes to burglaries, they're fast. These folks are in and out. They know exactly what they're looking for. And they also know the humanness of us and our habits. And a lot of us have not changed our habits because we grew up. And we do a lot of the same things that our parents did, right? So yes, very quickly, most happen, of course, when you are not home, on vacation, during the day, or the home is unoccupied, of course. Burglary happens every 26 seconds, and what do they steal? Small stuff. They steal the small stuff. They go for the narcotics. Well, where do we keep our narcotics? In the bathroom, usually, in the medicine cabinet, yes. Cash, electronics, guns, and jewelry. The average loss, $2,800, and usually a criminal enters through a door, and most likely the door is unlocked. In fact, the number one property crime in our area are car burglaries, and 99% of the time the doors are unlocked. Okay, yes. So what makes your home a target? So an unlocked door or window, a weak door, or no deadbolt. So if you were moving into a home that was pre-owned, did you change the locks when you purchased the home? How many keys are out there when it comes to your home? How often do you change the code to your garage if you have that? So yes, things that make your home a target. And honestly, many of us don't daily check our windows to see if they're locked. And I would always tell you and impress upon you, if you have guests in your home or you have service providers who come in, you know what? After they leave, go around and check your windows. Make sure all your windows are locked up. Even the doors that you don't use all the time, the door that may be behind a curtain, the slider that may be behind a curtain, periodically check and make sure everything is buttoned up. So open blinds, also a target, easy visibility inside the home. Can I see a purse sitting on a kitchen island? What can I see? And that's where I say, especially at night, walk around your home and see what you can see. Shrubs and trees that conceal doors and windows from the street, is the non-criminal deterrent. Nancy Guthrie, right? Case, kidnapping, because I look at all of these cases, I'll talk more about that. Fences that obscured backyards or sliders, no one living next door or across the street. We like neighbors. Neighbors are more eyes, right? That makes sense. So I know we all like privacy, but I will tell you, nosy neighbors are important. Yes, they are important. So in this case, you can see here, while this nice, pretty white fence gives us a lot of privacy, you can see a nice open fence like this is going to be beneficial for us because criminals do not want to be seen. They do not want to be noticed. Same with the shrubbery here. Again, nice. We all like a lot of foliage, sure, but a nice clean home is beneficial. You can add certain things when it comes to landscaping. Thorny stuff, anything that's going to be aggravating to somebody who's attempting to get into your home. So a bougainvillea, cactus, thorns, all that. Discouraging human passage, making criminals uncomfortable. When we talk and teach about landscaping, we always say we want our shrubs down here. That's at a bank, that's at a house of worship, that's at your home. Same thing. So many people, again, sometimes it's grown up, and when we move into our homes or maybe a new development, everything's small. Trees are small, shrubs are small, everything's small, which means the lighting's great. But then shrubs grow, tree canopies can get large and obscure lighting. So we want to have our tree canopies trimmed, and we want our yards free of debris. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, illuminate your home. Walk around in between your home, behind your home. Do you back up to a preserve? What does that look like? So when we say add lights, it's very easy now. They've come down in price. I like floodlights. I like motion detecting lights, a lot of things that we can add. So if someone's lurking around your house, we're going to, bam, put some light on them. Yes, all good stuff. The better the lighting, or the more lighting, the better for us. And you probably have gone to maybe like a new Publix at night, and it is lit up like daylight. They actually put reflective material into the asphalt, so all of that lighting then comes back up. And I love a well-lit parking lot at night. All day, I'm like, look at this parking lot, this is amazing. And at my husband's school, especially after Ian, they had some lights out, and I would say, look, people can trip and fall. This is where criminals can come in and try door handles because it's dark, so make sure, again, all lighting is nice and healthy. So motion-sensored lights, timed lights, or solar lights. I used to not turn my lights on my driveway because, why? I would forget to turn them off in the morning. I would be leaving my home, going to work, thinking, oh my gosh, I left the lights on, they're gonna be on all day, and my electric bill is gonna be high. And so then I didn't turn them on. But you all know if you're walking at night, walking your dog, just out and about, the more light, the better. You want your streets well lit. So I encourage everybody to turn their lights on. Now, the nice thing is they now have, and very decorative, solar lights, photocell, so you don't have to even touch it. It goes on at night, it goes off during the day. Magic lights, fabulous. All of that good stuff. When you're going on vacation, timers are great. I know those are kind of old school, but timers are nice. I use them on my Christmas lights. Wonderful. I don't have to plug anything in, do anything. Just set your timer, and you're good to go. Giving the appearance that someone is home. Studies show the more dogs in a community, the fewer burglaries reported. And I don't know about you, but when I don't have a dog, I do love other people's dogs, but I raised children, and that was enough for me. But dogs, when you walk past a home, right, and there are dogs inside, for some reason they're always peering outside, and they will make a ruckus, which is great. And to me, I love that noise. So when I'm walking with my daughter, if we're out and about and I hear dogs, I'm like, you go, you got it, you're doing the thing. I love that. So dogs are very intuitive, right? They don't like any strangers. So we all laugh, but we all did this. I was a latchkey kid, so. Keys under the planter, keys under the mat. We did that, but I would discourage that now. I would discourage that, especially because we are inviting so many people to our doorstep with our Amazon deliveries and FedEx. Lots of people are coming to our doors. Doors locked, even when you're home. Like I mentioned, burglars enter through unlocked doors. So even when you're home, just lock your doors and close your garages and lock your cars. I know we feel so safe. Even if you're in a gated community, listen, that is just access restricted. That is not a fortress. So be very cautious, even in a gated community, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment. Peepholes are great. I want you to know who is outside your door, And when it comes to our garages, clean or messy, criminals want your stuff. They do. And because we invite so many strangers into our community every day, landscapers, pool cleaners, roofers, right? Many people on our streets, roads, and neighborhoods who are not residents. And we don't know them, and we don't know their intent. Most of them are fine. But everybody's okay until the day they're not okay. If there's a drug addiction and they're like, oh, that power washer, that would help me out. That electric bike, I could really use that. You know, and criminals think if you leave your garage open, you're asking for it, right? They obviously don't care, or they're so wealthy that they're not going to miss this. The interior garage door usually does have a secondary lock. Use it. Use it. Check it at night. Make sure your garage door is closed every night. My husband does do that. Checks the slider, goes out, makes sure the garage is shut, because we know we've hit the garage door and it doesn't go all the way down for some reason. It's been bumped when you're sweeping or what have you. So check and make sure your garage door is closed and you do use this, because what happens, and we've seen cases, people will be wandering in your neighborhood at 2 in the morning. It does happen. And they'll see your garage open, they'll come in, they might try to see if there's anything in your garage or vehicle they can get to, and then they may step into your home, which is now a home invasion because you are in your home. So let's go ahead and, again, remove that opportunity. On our sliders, I know many of us use broomsticks back in the day. You stick the broomstick down in the grate of the slider. If you've been in a hotel on a cruise, you'll see some of this. The upside down J, which you flip and turn. There's a pin, a pedal lock here. And especially if you are a snowbird, really just look at different and creative ways that we can add auxiliary locks and we can button up. All good stuff. Any questions up to here? All right. Windows, like I mentioned, closed and locked. But I do want you to know how to open your windows. When's the last time you opened a window? Make sure that you're comfortable, because if you got to get out of your home, I want to make sure you can. So, but closed and locked, all good stuff. Blinds are wonderful. Blinds, curtains. We don't want to feel like that fishbowl where people can see in. Now, I know there are beautiful homes with really, really, really tall windows, and they don't have window coverings. They have storm shutters, but they don't put those down. And we actually had a case where the criminals came in through the lanai, because many of us don't lock our screen doors. Through the lanai, they were able to see a laptop, a purse. They saw through these beautiful windows. And they actually entered through a door that wasn't used often because the homeowners did not set their alarms. So I will tell you, if you have an alarm, use the alarm. All good. Tracks on the windows, so this is just something you can add to your windows if you do want to open your windows when it's beautiful outside. This just keeps them from opening too far. Alarm systems, also coming down in price, cameras too. So thieves don't want to be seen, heard, or detected in any way. We don't want to attract attention. They don't want to be noticed. So cameras are great. Lots of different types of alarms and cameras that can alert us or law enforcement if there is an intruder. So the alarms could be sensors on every door and window. Again, it could just be a beep, 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 right, when a door is opened. And that's great if you've got grandchildren who are visiting and we want to know if a door has been opened. Yes. So something audible, something monitored. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive. Motion sensors are great. Video surveillance or glass breaking sensors. I just installed our first doorbell camera. And it's fantastic. I enjoy it, but I get notified all the time because we are having the Amazon deliveries currently. Also very easy to install. You can monitor them through your phones. Images, video, the #1 investigative tool. I'm going to reference the Nancy Guthrie case again. When we got that video, we thought, well, yes, there was a person who came into this person's home, yes, at this certain time. So this is the video I was going to show you. It's beautiful, and you're going to notice from the right side of that pickup truck, this is what happens when you're sleeping at night. Beautiful neighborhood. And we're just going to try the door. Oh, it's locked. I'll move on. But if it were unlocked, they're going to get in, and they're going to get that spare change or maybe a gun out of the glove box, right? So remove your valuables all the time. What if there was a garage door opener in that vehicle and it was unlocked? They could then open your garage and they are in, okay? So keep that in mind. This video too. In this case, there's going to be a team of 4 people, and this is very well lit, very nice looking neighborhood. You're going to see a team of 4 people here coming from the left. Let's play that. One goes to the other side. These folks come over here. They're going to try door handles here. The guy across the street actually does get into a vehicle. Some people leave their keys and fobs in their cars too, and so you wake up and then your whole car is gone. It's just like that. So he's in. You see him in over there, checking to see what he can get into. We feel safe. We become complacent. But there are folks, because they know that, and they think, oh, these people are in wealthy neighborhoods. You know, we'll just see what we can get. So be cautious. Keep your valuables in a safe place other than the master. Listen, I grew up, that's where we put jewelry. Jewelry's in the jewelry box on the dresser, right? Cash is in a container, maybe under my socks, maybe in the closet, a weapon potentially too. So these are a couple creative things that you can get on Amazon, but you all can do that yourself. You can come up with some creative things to do to basically hide your valuables within your home. We are all now folks who have cameras and video equipment. I would always say inventory your property, great for insurance, good for hurricane, good for fire, good for burglary. List, engrave, label, photograph, video, because listen, at the end of the day, if you're burglarized, our goal is to get your stuff back to you. But we also have to know it's your stuff, whether that be a laptop, an electric bike, whatever that is, the tools. So go ahead and do that. That's a little bit of homework for you. Serial numbers, model numbers, identifying what is yours. So then if the stuff is taken, you can say, this is my blue bike. Then we can stop the person who's driving down the road with the blue bike and say, hey, you know, is this your bicycle? Because we are on the lookout for one that was recently stolen. If you are away, you know, have someone pick up your mail and your Amazon boxes, right? It's no longer the newspapers anymore, but this is where a trusted neighbor is important. And be cautious, too, what you're putting in your mailbox. We put up that red flag, and we're so, like, cavalier about it. But if you've got gift cards or a check or something, you may want to take that to the post office, because people do still steal mail, unfortunately. When you're out of town, get creative. Maybe have a neighbor park in your driveway. That's not going to hurt anything. Yeah. Make sure somebody knows your schedule. That would be where your trusted neighbor is in place, or a friend or family member who lives nearby. Live, for my folks who live alone, imply to others that you do live with someone. We don't want to ever tell anybody we live alone or we lost our husband if we're talking to a stranger and we don't know them. So be cautious what we share. We do tend to overshare because we are so trusting. So make sure, again, someone knows your schedule. Keep your plans off social media. We can no longer trust social media. We'll talk about that when we talk about AI. Avoid opening your door to strangers or letting anyone inside your home unless you've contacted them. So for me, it's unsettling to have strangers in my home when I am alone. I don't want to even have them there when my 22-year-old daughter is there alone. It's always nice to have somebody with you. Invite a friend over for tea if they're going to be cleaning your carpets or working on a refrigerator. It just makes me feel more comfortable if you've got somebody there with you. And of course, if someone is at your door, we're going to verify who they are. And if something seems odd, we are going to contact law enforcement and get some assistance. So I want to tell you this because I feel like we've gotten away from this. Right now, because we don't really like solicitors, and I understand that they are strangers, and you can pretend to be any business for sure, representing any business. So what we would do is we just wouldn't answer the door, right? But that is a way that criminals want to see if you're home. So this is what we do. It's going to be old school, okay? 16-year-old, it was a boy, home alone, heard the doorbell, called mom, said, is anyone coming? She said, no, ignore it, okay? But what does that tell the person outside? No one's home. 15 minutes later, heard a noise in a bedroom, walked in, saw a man coming through the window, and the man took off, okay? So this is what we do now. This is what I would tell you to do. Okay, someone's knocking or ringing your doorbell. Stay calm, don't open the door, okay? Use a camera, video, doorbell, or window to check who it is if you can. Peephole, always good. Ask them to identify themselves and shout through the door. Who is it? Identify yourself. Like, that's something that we kind of have gotten away from because we think we'll just ignore it, they'll go away. And sometimes that's the case. But if they are casing the house, they want to see if someone's home. And a criminal is going to take off. They're not going to want to deal with you. But that's it. Who is it? And so if they refuse to answer, you see them. If they refuse to answer, seem suspicious, or make you feel unsafe, call the police. It's a 911. I've got someone ringing my doorbell. I don't recognize them. They're not going away. Please come. And we will. And then we'll ask them, who are you? Do you have an ID? What are you doing here? Any questions there? Good. Shred anything with personal information. Because once your trash is at your curb, it is no longer yours. It is up for grabs. So we would say, shred anything. I think we've gotten much better about this, or mix it up with the yucky eggs or whatever that might be. Right? I will tell you that most of our information is already out there in the cloud, so don't stress about it too much, but I'm going to give you best practices. Always lock your vehicle. I think I've mentioned that. Valuables, weapons, garage door opener. If you can keep some of this out of there, anything with personal information on it. Again, better safe than sorry. Err on the side of caution. All right, well, I did everything I thought right, and I had a burglary. What happens next? So if you come home and you can tell that you have had a burglary, either it's a 911 call if you don't feel safe to enter, or it's a 477-1000. That's our non-emergency number, 239-477-1000. What's going to happen? A deputy or a community service aide is going to come out, and we're going to document what's missing. That's what we're going to do. Avoid touching anything and leave the mess, because we may have to dust for latents, for fingerprints, and such. We're going to take the report. That's going to be pretty quick. We may go around and canvass and see if anybody saw anything. We're going to ask you, do you have cameras? But then we're going to hit your neighbors too, or did you see anything suspicious? So what happens when we take that report? It goes back to our precinct. We type all that information in, and then your case gets assigned to a detective. That detective and then will reach out to you and say, did you have family visiting? Did you have any service providers in your home? Who's been in your home? When's the last time you saw that XYZ, whatever it is, okay? That's when we'll ask for images, pictures, if you have anything. So what's a watchful community? So I teach Neighborhood Watch, and we start up Neighborhood Watch programs. The more spirit of the community, the less criminality. That means we get to talk to our neighbors and get to know our neighbors and look out for one another. A lot of younger people, they just want to drive into their garage, shut the door, and don't talk to anybody. But it's really important that we get back to that front porch mentality where we are, again, checking on each other. So know your neighbors, right? While you are walking your dog, keeping an eye out for others. Watching each other's homes and property, being alert to potential criminal activity, and reporting it to law enforcement. So I'm all about engagement. Engagement meaning in your life, in your world, all the time, eye contact with people, especially those people who are your Amazon drivers. And it is eyes on, it could be a wave, it could be a smile, it could be whatever it is. But the message you're sending to all of those people in your community, we're watchful, we're friendly, right? You've been noticed, you're on my radar. So it's good. It's a good way to be. What is suspicious activity? A stranger in your neighborhood, a person cruising the streets, someone peering into cars. That's a 911 call, okay? Even if it's a solicitor, do not hesitate to call 911. Also, broken windows, right? Sound of breaking glass, obviously. Gunshots. Let's not call the gate attendant. Let's call 911 if you hear gunshots. Reporting suspicious activity, if something's happening right then. If a crime is not in progress, again, that's that non-emergency number. If the golf clubs get stolen out of the garage, that is not a high priority for us. I know it is for you, but it's not for us. So it could take an hour and a half to get to you, but we are coming. We will still come. Who is the burglar? Well, unfortunately, a lot of us know who that person is. It could be a roommate or former roommate. It could be an ex-girlfriend. It could be, for us, a grandchild who may have an addiction we're unaware of. Could be residents within the community or their loved ones, people who have provided a service, as you see, and unfortunately, friends or relatives can be the person who takes the stuff. This is where a 911 call is important. Never attempt to confront or apprehend a suspect. That is our job. You pay for those bulletproof vests, you pay for the marked units, you pay for that service. It is truly a public service. So if you call 911, first of all, if you can safely take a picture or video of whatever suspicious is happening, that's great. That's super helpful for us. But if not, you're just going to call us up. We describe a suspect from the top down. You can see hair color, right age. Give us whatever you can give us if someone suspicious is in your community. Same thing with the vehicle. I don't know different trucks, makes, models. I'm going to know red truck with a bumper sticker or something. But again, if you can take a picture or video, helpful. If not, give us what you can, right? It's a big red pickup truck and whatever it may be. Look for those dents, bumper stickers, things like that. All right, I'm wrapping up residential security because we're about to the halfway point of my hour. I do like to tell people about our civilian support unit. That is our volunteer group. If you are ever interested in volunteering for the sheriff's office, we have a great group of folks who do that. All right, so give me just one moment. Any questions on residential security while I am pulling up artificial intelligence? I think at the beginning we did kind of think that because Amazon, it looked like they were trying to get everything marked. That was going to be crazy for them to deliver the way they deliver now. So now they do have freelance drivers, and so people will just be in their regular SUV, and they'll be pulling packages out of their SUV. So they're freelancers. It's usually a third party. They're not affiliated with Amazon, but it's a third-party group. So complaints, yes, but I can see that they've got a bunch of packages, and they're coming on. They usually do have a vest on, although I can get that vest on. I could get that vest on Amazon if I really wanted to. We could all make vests, right, and pretend to be. And sometimes criminals do pretend to be, different, with different agencies and organizations. So, no, it depends on what the unmarked van is doing. So it is, maybe it's greeting that person, good morning, how are you doing, and then keeping an eye on them. That's okay. That's fair. Anybody else? Yes?
Are desk drawers or cabinets much of a deterrent to burglars?
Desk doors or cabinets?
Yeah.
If it's locked?
Locked.
Oh, for sure. Right? They want to get in and out. They want to get in and out. I don't think that they anticipate coming across locked stuff. Now, if it's someone who's been in your home and know that your desk or cabinets are locked or there's a safe in your closet, no, not necessarily a deterrent. Maybe thinking that there could be something good in there. What are you locking away in there? I'm going to get to. Yes, ma'am?
How safe are keypads?
I haven't heard any issues with keypads, but I would also update those, right? I would update those. Are you talking about the locks for the lock?
Well, garage doors have keypads.
They do. I have a code.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
keypad. Sometimes front doors, you can.
Yes, with the lock. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get that?
In today's world, you can get keypads for front doors. Side doors, I'm not sure about.
I haven't heard any issues with
slider
those.
doors. So they are as safe as a regular deadbolt.
I'm not going to say that because we don't really say anything absolute, obviously, but I have not heard any issues with them.
And one more question. You mentioned the slider doors and
The different
casement windows and awning type windows that open out.
Mhm.
Is a broomstick or a metal stick in the slider door track a deterrent?
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing that's 100%, but for sure. So I go out and present to folks who have manufactured homes, and maybe they're old communities, and so where they could just be lifted, So, you just have to look and see, what you could do from the outside. What does that look like? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, for sure. Gated communities have a false sense of security. It's not a security guard. We shouldn't even use that term. They do not have weapons on them, and so it is strictly access restricted, meaning people can't go through your community. I do think it's still a deterrent, to have that bar. Now, I live in a world with a bar. So back in my pre-law enforcement days, I would want to be nice because that's what I am, and I would let everybody through because that was me. Oh, you're stuck, you can't get in. I'm gonna feel so good because I'm gonna let you in. But now, after my training, I pull right behind and I sit and I have to be patient because I can't get to my house because there's something in front of me. But these days, with cell phones and things, these folks should be able to get in. We have a nice little area you can turn around. I've had someone get out and kind of wave at me, and so then I step out, and of course I've got this on, and I'm like, "Are you struggling? Do you have someone you can call?" And they're like, "Oh, like this girl's not going to let me in," and I don't, But it's otherwise, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of the gate, attendant. Let's get rid of the bars and the fences if we're not going to utilize it. Right? But we pay for that service, and so false sense of security. Security, yes. False sense, yes. A little bit of both, for sure.
In the Nancy Guthrie case, they were talking about the fact that somebody potentially had a signal jamming device. Is there any way to protect yourself from that?
Not that I've heard of yet. Not that I've heard of yet. But, we always respond with those things with other things. Like that's something. So I'm going to tell you, if we're going to hit on that for a second, better lighting, alarms, especially for my folks who live alone, panic button. They actually sell panic buttons. It's like a life alert, but it's a panic button. You can wear that around your neck. You could have it by your bed. It is a panic button. It will alert somebody immediately. So, again, we're living in this world where we feel very comfortable. What got her out of bed to answer the door that night? We don't know. Or did they just come in? Did they, were they able to jimmy the lock and come in? I don't know. But I am all for panic buttons. If we get to the point where we're so nervous and stressed about just living in our homes, especially alone, then maybe that's something that we can go to and use. Listen, 7-Eleven employees, they have to go to the bathroom. They have to go make coffee. They have to do things. So they actually have a lanyard around their wrist that they can hit and get law enforcement assistance right away. What do we think about those? Did I answer your question? Yeah. Is that good? Anybody else? Listen, there are lots of layers and things that we can do. It's whatever you're comfortable with. All right, let's get started on AI. So this is my first video, and this is the only video I have. So we didn't get to test it, so I'm checking it. All right, let's get going with this.
It was my daughter's voice going, "Mom," and she's sobbing. And I'm like, "Okay, what happened?" She's like, "Mom, I messed up." I'm like, "Great." She's thinking she got injured. What happened? And all of a sudden I hear this man's voice say, "Lay down, put your head back." So I'm thinking she's being put on a gurney, which is a common sled to take you off a mountain if you're in a skiing injury, right? So then I started to get really scared. I'm like, "Okay, this is serious. What happened? What's going on?" And then this man
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let's break down AI. And what is AI? So we wouldn't have artificial intelligence if we didn't have human intelligence. Yes. So it is transforming a lot of sectors, and it's not just bad, but as we know, good technology in the wrong hands can be used for ill intent. We know that. It is like electricity. It is woven into everything we do, and it's come on, in some cases slowly, in some cases lightning fast. It's going to empower many things we already use. We're going to see more technological innovations, and people do have mixed emotions about it. Yes, indeed. So AI is a branch of computer science designed to understand and store human intelligence, yes, and mimic human capabilities. But I don't know about you, but people are pretty complex. So you show me a robot that's going to be like a human, I don't see it happening in the way that some think it will. And I'll talk about those limitations. So completion of tasks, processes human language, speech recognition. The goal is to eliminate tedious tasks and assist us in accessing detailed and hyper-focused information and data. So I'm going to break down the different types of artificial intelligence and give you some examples. We have narrow, general, super. In plain, easiest terms, narrow, general, super. And super does not exist yet. And then we have relative machine, limited memory, theory of mind, and self-awareness. Self-awareness does not exist yet. So the journey. Do we remember the famous chess player playing the robot in chess? Yes, well, that's where this all kind of started, way back. We're talking 1950s to 1980s. Then we have narrow, which is 2000 to present, general, present, and future, and then super, which we're not there yet. Breaking it down again. Narrow, also known as weak. So simplest terms, not learning new stuff. It identifies and specializes in one issue. General, now we're talking like ChatGPT, OpenAI, refers to a computer as smart as a human across the board. And then we have super machine consciousness. Artificial and narrow, so your Siri, your Alexa, narrow, okay? That's going to be on the lowest tier. General, that's again OpenAI, ChatGPT, and then super, we're not there quite yet. So I don't know about you. Who uses a Siri or Alexa? Voice assistant. Okay. So about a third or so. So this is known as weak, narrow. It can perform one task like our weather app. Alexa, what's the weather like today? It is not self-aware, thankfully, does not possess genuine intelligence. You're going to ask, it's going to give you. So over here, I would ask you and invite you to rewatch WALL-E or Her if you have not, because that uses general AI. While beneficial, artificial intelligence, could be biased. Why could it be biased? Well, because human beings are biased. Like, we all have our opinions about things. One concern, it could be used to manipulate elections, markets, or political systems. Could eventually surpass human intelligence in creativity, which is why the actors and the writers and everybody are freaking out about the creative aspect. Problem solving and more. And if you look here, this is what we are all wrapped up in. Human beings. Beliefs, consciousness, desires, cognition, emotional intelligence, subjective experiences. Not sure where a machine's going to get that. Behavioral intelligence, and again, this would be super AI, which does not exist. So I want to talk about facial recognition. How many people use their face to open their phones? Yeah, that's super convenient. Didn't really have a choice, but we kind of like it, right? So this is where I talk about the creepy, cool factor. Creepy, cool factor. Listen, I did have one woman come up to me after this presentation and said, your presentation is very negative, Heather. It's very negative. There are a lot of good things with AI. I said, you're right. I said, but I have to show what can happen to protect people and teach people. But yes, there are a lot of cool things with AI too. But when we talk about facial recognition, we all have unique facial data. It creates a face print, and then it uses it to match what we've programmed it and what it's learned, our own face. Yes. We use it in law enforcement to identify criminals and assess potential threats. We use it on our smart devices. Yes. Tagging in social media, tagging people. Now we're teaching the system who that person is. Our daughter, our granddaughter, our friend, our partner, whatever that may be. And if you open your Apple or Google Photos, you will, without even agreeing to, see different files already created. So I could open it up and see all the images of my daughter. Apple has so kindly put into a file all the images of my daughter. I have all the images of my husband. I have all the selfies. Now it'll break it down to sunsets. It'll break it down to different sporting things. And here's the deal. We are feeding the beast. We are feeding it. Because you need to think of your device like a door. It's shaped like a door. And if you attended frauds and scams, 5.5 billion people can knock on your door. And if we're at our house, we can verify. But when we're on our device and we feel super safe in our community and our home, we need to really slow down and be a detective and decide, who am I opening the door to? The text, the phone calls, the email messages, social media. I have pulled way back on my social media use because it's just not fun anymore, right? It used to be, and we all trust Mark Zuckerberg back in 2013 when we got on Facebook. Facebook was so fun and cool. And we all put our real names in, and we all put our real birthdays in because that's what you did. Because we trusted, because we are human, and we are too trusting. But here we are, years later, and I would say, just be aware that we are being tracked. Well, how do they have our information? Well, we give it to them. We buy the darn door. We buy the door because we like the conveniences. We like the cool factors of the door. And then we install the apps. And the apps use our what? Phone number, email. They have us. They have our name, our phone number, our email. And I would encourage you to Google yourself and see what about you is out there, because it's a lot. It's a lot of information. Moving forward, when it comes to different ways that AI can be used, we saw this during COVID, so it can determine violations of community guidelines. Well, did we agree to these guidelines? We did, because we signed up for Facebook. Yeah, we did. We agreed to it. Tools for language interpretation, a few ways social media is operating alongside AI. Those voice assistants, which I think are cool. I love to ask my voice assistant, oh, what did we listen to last night? We were on old, it was a public radio or public TV. It was Barbara Streisand. There was some Barbara Streisand special. My husband happened upon it. He's like, her voice was so good. And I'm like, yes, it is amazing. Like, in how many songs? Incredible. So then, of course, this morning we're like, hey, Alexa, play the best of Barbara Streisand. And because I love music, and I think that is a neat thing to be able to do, or ask the weather, right? I am a researcher at heart, so I do enjoy a good search engine and enjoy looking things up. But these voice assistants, they all use AI, Google Home, Alexa, Siri. They use our natural language. They discover patterns. So if you ask for the weather every day around 8 o'clock, you might have your Alexa or Siri say, you know, I could tell you the weather every day at 8 o'clock if you'd like. Would you like me to do that? And I always say, no. Like, don't do anything that I don't want. I want to ask. There's only a tiny bit of things that we can control in this world, and I'm going to control what I can. But the more you use them, the better they learn. Search engines. Like I said, I do love a good search engine. Improves the results. Recommends content. Back in the day, there was a time before all of this, but then when you can start looking up, and you know, it's gotten better so like little bits, every new install, every update. So back in the day, you would type in pain in my, and we would have to write the word neck, but then it started co-piloting for us, and it would give you do it now, pain in my neck, hip, foot, head, like it's going to give you. And then you're going to click on, well, this is neat. It's giving me lots of options. And you're going to click on it, and then it's going to give you symptoms, treatment, what you could be dealing with, and then therapies. And It's learning us and how to feed us better before we even have to think about it. It works to grasp spelling. I'm thankful for that because I'm not a very good speller. Context language to satisfy the users. We are the users. We are the product too, remember that. We've agreed to all of this. We are the product. Trillions of searches performed every year. So it's working to learn our intent and provide those results. Oh, let's talk about smart devices in our homes. So I have Xfinity, and every month, Xfinity is so nice and sends me an email that gives me like a wrap-up, my Xfinity wrap-up. And basically, it's everything connected to Wi-Fi. And when my mom was with us, she was in our home for about 15 months and now has her own place. But at that point, 26 things were connected to my Wi-Fi. 26 devices. It's every phone. My daughter's living with us now. It's every tablet, laptop, television. And then if you got a new air conditioning system, it's going to be your Nest, which I didn't ask for, but I have. So if I am on the other side of the planet and I want to change the thermostat, I can do that. I miss old school. I do miss simplicity. Garage door opener. If you've gotten a new garage door opener, well, guess what? It's got an app too. So again, if I'm on the other side of the planet, I can open my garage. How did we ever get along without an app for our garage door opener? I don't know. But then stuff goes down, then stuff doesn't work, right? So it's frustrating. I miss TV. I miss old school TV. You have to think of your TV like a phone now with the apps and the subscriptions and the money grab. It is. My mom's like, what do you mean I can't get NBC over here and I can't get HGTV and why can't I go get it? And I always say, ooh, what's happening here? I always say, it's a money grab. They want our cash. The criminals and the corporations know where our eyes are, and our eyes are on this device, the device that we purchased. So yes, Ring camera, doorbell camera, hooked to the device, right? Alarms, all of this, all here. Software recommendations. I do like a good recommendation. Just like a friend offering me, telling me about a good book. If you use Netflix, which I do enjoy Netflix, I don't like TV, but I like Netflix. Because why? I have a little control. I can go thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, or thumbs down. It's my profile. It's what I want to watch. I like that. But I'm also feeding it. I don't have to tell it my opinions. And by the way, my Alexa now, you ask the weather, this is what Alexa will say. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be sunny, blah, blah, blah. What if I don't want it to be sunny? We need rain. We need rain right now. Why is the Alexa giving me an opinion? I don't want it, right? Some people don't like sun. Interesting, though. I'm like, just tell me the weather. Don't give me your opinion. When you log on to Instagram and Facebook, you might see a suggested list of friends. Again, creepy, cool. Well, that's AI. You have mutual friends with this person over here, so maybe you all would be friends and know one another. When you use Google Maps, and I do love navigation, get me around the traffic issues, but you are, again, teaching AI, but AI is making life easier. Slowly, so slowly, Apple has integrated AI into its existing product. Again, co-piloting, guessing the next letter, guessing the next word, suggesting questions and information. I could talk about ChatGPT all day, but I would encourage you to research it and check it out. It's free, it's supposed to be encrypted, but yeah, we don't want to give it too much information, so be as vague as you can, but ChatGPT is super cool. You can do images, you can do travel, you name it. Lots of emotion and mental health assistance there too. It does train on data regenerate, getting smarter, right? Meaningful and seamless interactions. So you could go into ChatGPT, I'm going on a trip to Mexico next week, what kinds of things should I do? Will you book my hotel? So it's gonna get easier and easier for us. Again, creepy cool, creepy cool. Because now what? I've now told a machine where I'm going to be and when. So how is it impacting our daily lives? We are getting faster. Yep. Coding is going to increase. we will all be able to code one day. Tech is getting better and faster, and the big concern a lot of people have, it could impact 300 million jobs and replace jobs. But AI is also creating jobs. So while it's impacting, it's creating. Why? Well, we're going to need a lot of cybersecurity folk to detect the deception, and I'm good with that. We're going to need those people to try to catch the criminals and keep our information safe. In some cases, I think it's safe to say, faster than what we're prepared for. May feel like science fiction, but it is reality. It's become predictive and preventative when it comes to healthcare. So cool, I've got my nice Fitbit on. Now, I'm sure AI somewhere in the sky knows when I'm sleeping, knows when I'm exercising, right? And I'm okay with that. I would like to think that our world is good, but there are a lot of things now with diabetes. We just had in the Nancy Guthrie, right? She had a pacemaker that was hooked to her device. We know when it was discontinued, or disconnected, I should say, to help with that investigation. Here's a good thing. It could transform agriculture, being able to analyze seed and predict the best fertilizer and environment. The 4 types here: reactive, limited memory, theory of mind, and self-awareness. Let's break those down. Reactive, also like narrow, simple, weak, basic. You put in input, it offers output. Doesn't learn anything new. It applies data sets to respond with recommendations based on existing inputs. Kind of like Netflix, right? Kind of like that stuff. Reactive machines, autonomous vehicles. Don't know how you feel about that, but we would have no drowsy or drunk drivers on the road. I don't know. Again, we're going to have to really kind of wait and watch. Smart home devices, as we mentioned, traffic management, industrial robots, gaming, health monitoring devices, as I mentioned, and personalized advertisements. Oh, yeah. So I am now redecorating. I'm going with the coastal decor. I like the colors. So you type in coastal decor, and guess what? Every corporation that sells paintings, rugs, furniture, blankets, pillows. I'm getting everything coastal I could have asked for. It is insanity. But I will say I like some of the stuff, right? Personalized advertisements. And yes, all of our devices have a microphone that we use for Alexa and Siri. Can you turn the microphones off? Yes, but then you cannot use those voice assistants. But everything in our world now is listening to us. Yes. Predictive policing. We use data on past crimes and things that happen, and we look at it seasonally, over the year, and we predict where and when, who might commit a crime. So those algorithms help generate those predictions that help law enforcement. Limited memory. So self-driving cars, they can use signals and sensors to make driving decisions. So they store captured and learned data and build on knowledge for the future. So limited memory. Cars can compute here where pedestrians, traffic signals, and low light conditions exist, and maybe avoid crashes or traffic errors. What are we used for this? This is where our personal assistants will fall into, limited memory, based on past interaction. Online shopping recommendations. There are the dollars again. There are the dollars. Why? Where are our eyes? Our eyes are on our social media feeds and our news feeds. Do you remember when social media was friend, 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 family member, friend, friend, friend? Nah, not anymore. It's friend, 3 ads, friend, another advertisement, maybe a family member, another advertisement, another. Email's the same way, full of junk stuff, advertisements that we don't want. I don't want advertisements in my email. And they just keep coming. Why? Because we're using it. And they know where we are. It's not appointment viewing anymore where the commercials pop up on regular TV. But the criminals, also know. Same thing with a news article. News article. Bit of copy, ad, copy, ad. Am I okay on time here? Buddy, are we good? Okay. Navigation systems, email filtering, spam detection, like that. Yeah, detect that spam and send that to that spam folder. Health monitoring, wearables. Theory of mind. Humans, we have thoughts, feelings, emotions, and desires that impact our behavior and decisions. So AI struggled at first, but it is improving. AI must understand everyone has feelings and develop the ability to change its behavior. In February of 23, AI passed a theory of mind test with a 9-year-old ability. What would we use theory of mind for? So, customer service, education, mental health, seeing a lot of that with mental health. People who may not step out to see therapists or get assistance can now go to like a chat GPT, and the chat GPT will give you some affirmations and feed you some jumping off points. If it's an uncomfortable conversation you want to have, if it's just stuff that we're all going through, which we are all going through stuff. Human-robot collaboration, self-driving cars, and robotic age. And imagine here, too, if we have a young person, 4 or 5 years old, who witnesses a crime. Very difficult to get that young person in with the detective and get that information out. But what if we could create a Paw Patrol avatar that has Paw Patrol voice and now is on a TV screen and can talk to that young person and then interview them about whatever this case or crime may be. There are some beneficial things there. Self-awareness. Remember, in the yellow, the stage is not currently possible. In order for self-awareness to become a possibility, scientists will need to find a way to replicate consciousness in a machine, which I don't think can happen, but I'm not there. When AI is self-aware, the stages of development will be complete. It is the most challenging of all AI types. Machines will have achieved human-level consciousness, emotion, and empathy. Once a machine is self-aware, it will be able to form its own identity. Yes, but whose identity? And whose morals, and whose ethics, and whose values, right? Play with your voice assistants. Go ask some tough questions. Hey, Alexa, where does Jesus live? Go play with that. Go see. Ask some difficult questions and see what you get. Because for some reason, we have decided that when I use my search engine, the results are truth. And the fact of the matter is, AI can make mistakes. Our search engines can make mistakes. Don't trust that this is the absolute. This is just data and stuff from a lot of human beings around the planet. Don't trust that this is the end-all be-all. Why? Oh my goodness, in my broadcasting world, we'd have medical reports. This study says eggs are bad. This study says eggs are good. So that's in the simplest form. But you know, you do enough research and you look at those medical studies, they come up with all kinds of different things. And right, the sugar's okay because Coca-Cola did the, right, paid for the, sponsored the, right, study. Sugar's okay. Sugar's not okay, just and limited, yes. Negative concerns, one of the reasons you're here, I'm sure. Job security, privacy, tracking us like never before. It's one of the reasons why the Sheriff's Office doesn't use AI a whole bunch, because of privacy. And then companies with proprietary information, like a Gartner, like an Arthrex, they don't want AI to get into their business. They make their employees sign things that they can't talk to other people about this. You throw that stuff in the cloud, you don't know who's going to get that information. So manipulation of concern, bias. We should be skeptical of the data collectors. And who's collecting data? Everyone. Google, Apple, Meta, they're in the business of taking our data and using it for their purposes. They do not care about us. We are a commodity. So some of the scam concerns. Scams, deep fakes, sexual or online abuse, AI hallucinations, that is just something that is false. That is called an AI hallucination. And you'll see in the little tiny letters, AI can make mistakes. If it's generated with AI can make mistakes. Okay, thanks for telling us that. All right. Data privacy, and then bias amplification. Phishing or smishing scams, that's going to be texting or email. Quishing, which is using the QR codes, which we all love, the QR codes. No. Voice cloning, like we saw on the top of the program here, imposter scams, and tech support scams. Email, call, face-to-face, you must verify just in case. AI expanding wildly in dozens of directions. Some are going to be helpful, but others are terrifying. As deep fakes continue to be more realistic, the line between the fake, right, digital world and reality is becoming increasingly difficult to discern. We agree on that? Yes. Guarding our privacy will certainly be more difficult. So the future of AI. I will tell you, Matthew McConaughey just copyrighted his voice and likeness, as I'm sure a lot of actors will be doing. Future of AI. Laws. How do we govern 5.5 billion people? Because our laws govern the United States. Do we have global internet laws? Because I will tell you, in Russia and India, they got a lot of smart people, but their laws are very laxed. Yes. So we need rules, but what kind of rules? And who's deciding the rules? We cannot trust that companies have our best interests. We must figure out a way to share information to evolve and grow for good things. For example, in healthcare, wouldn't it be great if we all had our genomes sequenced and all of our information was out there globally so we could help each other or our children or grandchildren? But then what if it gets into the wrong hands, right? And we know that it can. Hopefully one day, in utopia world, right, millions or billions of genetic and other biological information from other people will be shared for positive purposes. Yeah, who's gonna govern that and make sure? So I like this People headline: a boy suffering chronic pain for 3 years finally received correct diagnosis from ChatGPT. It's pretty incredible. I mean, it is scouring the internet in seconds. Yes. This quote is great. We look at AI as a hammer. It's a hammer can build, it can also destroy. That's a security and privacy officer. While AI tech like ChatGPT has been a game changer for the bad actors because they can make things look really good, fewer grammatical errors, they can make images look amazing, they can do video now, much less glitchy. Yep. It can also be a tool for cybersecurity teams, so this is good, to identify new threats and see how criminals are getting into systems to gain our information. AI-driven tech being used to look for anomalies across our email, hooray, right? And throw that stuff into our spam folders. It will help cybersecurity teams identify threats and learn patterns in criminal behavior. The more people who understand what's possible for AI to do and how it works, the more educated we will be about using it and embracing it, but putting those protections in place. All right, I'm wrapping up because I kind of cut this one down just a tad. Any questions you have for me or something that I can hit upon? Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, all the you mentioned you get all these ads and diversions from what you originally intended to do with your life moments. Is there any way to block or prevent all that stuff from coming in 3 easy steps?
So I follow someone called Kurt the Cyber Guy. He's been featured on international, I should say national media, Kurt the Cyber Guy. So this is someone I do allow into my world, and you can subscribe to his newsletters. I do trust him. He will feature various businesses. Whether they're sponsors of his or not, I don't know, but you can do the research. Incogni is one that's listed. There are different ways that you can get data erased, but Kurt the Cyber Guy, that's who I would check out and see.
Kurt, how do you spell Kurt?
Is it K-U-R-T?
Oh, Kurt.
Kurt the Cyber Guy. Let me double check. I'm gonna make sure. And it's good reading. Let me tell you, it's good reading. He has features every day. He'll use stories and talk more about scammers. Let me look and see. I'm just gonna double check. It's all. Listen, if it's a good resource, I wanna give it to you all too. Let me make sure. I don't want to give you incorrect information. It's not popping up on me right now. One moment. Oh, so anything financial or medical? Anything financial or medical? Kurt, yes, K-U-R-T, the cyber guy, all one word. Kurt, the cyber guy. Because this is my job, I sign up for the emails because I like to know what's out there. And so I read a lot of his information, but he does mention businesses that I don't. So yes, financial, medical, when it comes to frauds and scams, first of all, don't answer your phone. If you don't know who's calling, implement the screening now that's available. I can help you do that on your phone. So what happens is someone calls you, they have to say their name, and then it comes and rings through your phone. I've assisted some people to do that. I use that now. Listen, we're trying. We're playing catch up, but the service providers, the government kind of, are working to protect us, but we are the first responders here. We have to advocate for ourselves. We have to slow down. Do not answer your phone if you don't know who's calling, right? If someone gets you on the phone, or they send you that scary text, right? If emotion's involved or a sense of urgency, those are red flags. Emotion being scary, seized, arrested, discontinued, frightening, or you've qualified for, you've won, tax refund, amazing, you have 24 hours to 36 hours to claim, or dispute the resolution or dispute the transaction, All of that are red flags, but especially when it comes to financial or law enforcement related. That is you get off the phone and you do the legwork. You reach out to us and we're going to help you out, right? Is my loved one in jail? Well, we can tell you if anyone's in jail across the country. So call us, right? If they say that they're law enforcement, we're going to hang up. We're going to verify that. And it looks like this. Oh my goodness, this seems so important. I'm going to take your information. I'm going to do a little research. I got a buddy with the sheriff's office. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to call you back. Okay? A red flag is they do not want you to do that research. They do not want to hang up. So if it's financial, again, this sounds so important. Oh my goodness, I'm going to take your information. I'm going to do some research, and then you walk into the bank, you call the number on the back of your card, and you do the legwork. You be the detective. Yes, sir.
We've all had all these different scams. The latest one that we had, which I thought was the first time I had seen this, we have Capital One as our credit card. It was a call. My wife took the call, and they said they were Capital One from the fraud division, and they were asking if we had charged some money at some place, and of course it was no. And they said, well, we think your card has been compromised then. We're going to have to cancel your card and issue you a new card. Well, then they went fishing they wanted the account number, the PIN number, and all this other stuff, And I go, no. I said, no. And they got really adamant about you wouldn't give them the information. I said, no, what I am going to do is I'm going to hang up on you because I think you're a fraudster, and I'm going to call Capital One. And they, of course, said it was total fraud. So it's amazing the ways that they try to fish for information. But we had not had one related to our credit card until that one.
Well, because so much personal information is online,
Oh, yeah.
they can piece it all together from social media to something in our mail.
I had my identity stolen, and the only way that I found out was I got a notice from one of the other credit card companies, and they had all of my information except for my email address. And someone was trying to open an account. It was for American Express. Well, I never had American Express, and I didn't pay much attention to it. And then I thought, I better call and ask about this. Well, these people were trying to open an account. They had all the information, but American Express wouldn't do it without having my email. And I said, so that alerted me, and they, of course, shut it down. But they have all your information. It's all out there.
It is all out there.
It's all out there.
Some of us probably need a new email, I'm not going to lie, because we give our email to so much junk to, whether it's a rewards or whatever. I almost feel like we should have one email that's just like finances and medical, and then one for everything else, all the shopping, all the games. I think my mother's email has been compromised, and then someone hijacked her Amazon account. Because if you're Amazon, all you need really is a phone number and an email. And again, we sign up and use that all the time. So either get a new phone number, which she doesn't want to do, or get a new email address or an additional one. Yes, ma'am.
We have the option on Apple phones to block the caller.
Yes.
or actually you can block the email too. If you don't want emails that come in, it doesn't work. You know, I mean, it kind of works, but so many are on rotating
Oh, yeah. Those are just robocalls.
dials that it actually doesn't work.
I do it because it makes me feel better, but you're right. I unsubscribe to everything. I send stuff to spam. I do all of the things that I can do.
Yes.
And that is helpful.
Text, all the texts I send if you type in stop and delete and then report a scam, they still come back. It does nothing. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it's
but
it's like it's almost like you're wasting your time.
You are right.
But I just wanted to say I had 2 or 3 full-page letters that came across in my email trying to blackmail me for pornography. That I was the porn star, of course.
Of course.
and they had pictures of my neighbor's house that they thought was my house.
Well, I will tell
I
you.
took it to the sheriff's department, and they laughed at me.
Well, one of the concerns is if you type your address into Zillow or even Maps, we're going to see your house. That's another thing with the Nancy Guthrie case. Like how long were they casing her home, you know, and what can you see and what is out there? A lot of information is out there. Yes, ma'am.
The microphone, would you review that?
Oh, the microphone.
Yes, so
Yep.
can you, in your settings, can you turn off the
Yes,
microphone?
absolutely.
Which would disable Siri,
Yes,
and it would prevent listening to your conversations.
that's what they say.
And sending advertisements like for cat food when we don't have a cat, something like that.
That's what they say.
Okay, so I'm gonna check my settings.
Sure. And I use voice text. I use my voice instead of typing it in. So I do voice to text, so I have to have my microphone on to do that. I know. But you could just, okay, so I will say, get into your phone, know your device. We spend $1,000 on these devices. So get into your settings, look at everything. Look at everything, all the drops downs, go in, look at everything that your device can do. So much it can do, but we don't take advantage of that. Security, all of it, privacy, and then Facebook, same thing, Gmail, Amazon, all of it. There are lots of things that we can do, but we just don't do it because no one comes out and teaches us. So take the time when you're sitting at home, get on all of your finances, banking, everything. Update those passwords so the Amazon account doesn't get hijacked or the Facebook account doesn't get hijacked. Add two-step authentication. Do some recovery email. There's so many things we do that we don't until there's a problem. So I would say try to get out in front of it. Yes? Yeah, convenience. Stressing about it, anxiety. Yeah, throw it in the garbage, right? Let's go get an old school phone. Do we need it? Yes, right? I told a good friend of mine, I think in 5 years we're going to be done with all that because it's not fun anymore. It's just not, we're not enjoying it. We need to go back to a simpler time, less stressful, right? For sure. Yes, sir. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I was talking about the fact that I had my identity stolen, and so I was researching all the things I could do to try to deal with this. A couple things that I found out is that, you know, you can shut off your credit where they can't open accounts
Freeze your
in
credit.
name.
Yes, I do that in another presentation.
Yes, if you're financially in a point where you don't really use credit.
That's correct.
Shut the darn things down. If you do get to the point where you need it for something, you can always open it back up again.
That's correct.
But that way, nobody can try to open an account in your name.
Freeze your credit is what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
simple to
then
do. Lock down your social security number as well.
Well, that's another one. I found out we had actually a friend who 1 month she had direct deposit on her Social Security and didn't get a check. So she inquired. Somebody had gone and said that they had moved with her name and her check got sent to another state. So, and I found if you go to the Social Security office, you have to go in person, you have to sign up. It says, no one can change the address that this check is being sent to unless you personally come in and do it. Nobody can call in and do it. So there's just a bunch of things like that that you
A lot
can
of
do to
things,
try to-
yes, we have to do to advocate for ourselves, for sure. Yes, ma'am.
Just about the iPhone, I always turn off, you go to iPhone, you go to your settings on phone, which is now on an app, and you just say silence unknown callers, and they go right to voicemail. So if it's junk people calling or trying to get, you don't even hear it, and 100% they don't leave a voicemail.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, and then you go, oh, well, I'm getting a call from my doctor. Turn it back off, then turn it back on again.
I include that in my fraud and scams presentation for the last one. I'm telling you, my one frauds and scams is now 4 different presentations because we could be here for hours talking about all of the stuff. Yes.
Yeah, quick question.
Sure.
I don't talk to my phone. I don't speak to inanimate objects, so I don't talk to Siri or any of those things in my phone. But I can be out riding my bike, happen to see a friend, talk about kayaking or something random, and then I get home and that night they're popping up in my email and on Facebook is all this stuff about kayaking. So even though I don't talk to it, somehow it's listening to me.
Oh, yes,
Is there
for sure.
something to turn off?
Yep. In your phone, yeah, you can just turn all your microphones off. TV, laptop, tablets, all of it. Because we buy the devices, usually the default is it's all open, right? Because the corporations want to track us. All right, I'll stay up here with my card if you want anything else from me, and I appreciate you stopping by.
Can
I've
I
got
just-
some scam folders if you'd like.
Can I just ask you one more question, Heather?
Sure.
We were talking about home security, and one thing that I didn't think about was, we're talking about the physical home, but we also know that there are scams out there now where they can get a hold of our title. Is there any way for us to protect ourselves from that type of thing?
So here in Lee County, if you reach out to the Lee County Clerk of Courts and you can just research, but it is, you can get a notification if anyone's making any inquiries to your address.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a fraud protection that they finally put together because people were asking about it.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Let's see. I always just put in clerk of courts, like fraud protection, title protection, and that should pop up.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much again, Heather, for coming and educating us on all of these things. And as she said, she will be up here to take any further questions, but I do want to close us down in prayer. All right. Dear Father, Lord, we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity. We thank you for Lee County Sheriff's Office who saw the value of this. Lord, because there's so much out there that we need to be educated about that we cannot cover ourselves. So, Father, we just pray, Lord, that as we have heard so much information, that you would give us wisdom to know what we need to be doing. Help us to make the very best decisions for ourselves, to create the type of security that we need without fixating on it at the same time. And, Father, I just pray, Lord, that you would be glorified in us as we try to secure ourselves, but I also pray, Lord, that as things do happen, because as Heather said, sometimes things happen, that you would give us the grace to respond to it in a way that would glorify you, and that you would provide us with the kind of help that we need in those circumstances. We just lift these things up in the precious name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.